Hi, welcome to Conscious Living and Wellness, and I'm really excited to have a mermaid join us today. So we have Mermaid Lauren joining us. So we're going to find out how she became a mermaid, being a mermaid is really about. Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
How are I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm just sitting on the beach
Oh,
in my mermaid tail.
oh, I love that. Full mermaid life, yeah.
I know. I know. I think after this I'm gonna do a beach cleanup though because with the flooding there's so much styrofoam all over the beach. So I'll definitely do a little beach cleanup after this. Take
Oh,
care of my beach.
that's a big part about a mermaid is the beach cleanup. So I'm really excited to have you on today and really talk about, how you founded Sydney Mermaids and yeah, your mermaid life. Yeah, so to begin with, I want to explain a little bit about the story.
Yeah, so I guess it all started a couple years ago. I had this really bad back injury. Oops, there's a helicopter above me. But I suffered this really bad back injury, and my doctor and my physio were both telling me to go swimming. And I had never really been a swimmer before. I never really did laps before, anything like that. So I was like, why just swim, like boring swim routine when I can be a mermaid, right? So I just started. So I just started training every day. I started off with my bifins, which is just like when you put your two kind of, the fins that you go snorkeling with. I would just put them together and pretend that it was a full-on monofin. And I started practicing every day with someone always there just for safety first. When it comes to mermaiding, water safety is like number one. So I would always have someone there to make sure that I didn't drown or not come up for air. But eventually, my body just started healing, from being in the ocean pool every day and doing all of that great core strengthening work. And I eventually got a monofin and my mermaid tail. This is the latest one that I have, which I don't know if you can see. It's the Aurora Borealis paint style. Yeah, it's definitely
Beautiful.
my. Thank you. But yeah, I just started training every day in the ocean pools here in Manly. And I eventually just was able to, hold my breath for a little bit longer. And I got really into, how I could do that was essentially free diving. So I did a free diving course here in Manly with Jack Hatfield. He was amazing. And then I just finished my PADI certification as a mermaid yesterday. So yeah, so I'm so stoked about that because it just is, for me, it's credibility as not only a mermaid, but just water safety in general. There's so many things that I didn't even realize that could happen if I was swimming, in the ocean or even just in a pool. You can literally drown in like a foot of water. So I was, yeah, just really keen to learn like that side of it and get really into like the water safety side of it too. Just for my community, if I'm doing mermaid swims, I want to make sure everyone's safe in the water. And, that way we can really enjoy ourselves, and have the mermaid fun.
I know, and I think
So yeah.
we've got some of the wildest, most beautiful oceans here in Australia. And yeah, I know growing up, I used to do surf lifesaving and it can just change in 1 second. So, like, yeah, water safety is so important to understand the
Yeah. And I think, with Sydney Mermaids now, we're gonna really focus on, you know, training and making sure like every mermaid is certified. Um, so that way, yeah, we can just be safe, you know, when we're in the water, but also just so we can have more fun and play. Because, you know, the last thing you want on your mind is like, oh, like, you know, someone's like getting hurt or something like that. You really just want to have fun in the water. So with all of that, I think having that PADI certification is just, you know, next level for me as a mermaid.
So you showed us your beautiful mermaid tail. So what would be the step to be able to go up to that stage of being able to have the mermaid tail that you've got?
Yeah, so I would suggest doing a mermaid course, actually, which you can do through PADI. Even just the basic mermaid course, which we will be working with a freediving company soon to offer that here in Sydney, which will be it's so exciting, right? Because you know there is the freediving side of it, but I think a lot of people they just want to be able to recreationally swim as a mermaid. Oftentimes when I'm swimming as a mermaid, I don't really go past like 5 meters, you know, hardly do I ever go down to 10 meters. So just being in the pool and everything, I would say, yeah, definitely be on the lookout for our mermaid courses because there's so much to learn just with like how you move your body in the water to make sure that it's really fluid, like almost like belly dancing, you know, when you're doing like body rolls. And the equipment, there's a lot of equipment out there. So it's hard to know which is like the safest equipment to use. And using a monofin especially is, you know, it's a lot harder than it looks sometimes because your feet are stuck together. And when
Yeah.
you have the mermaid tail over you, especially in the ocean, like with the water safety, it can be a little freaky sometimes. But yeah, there is actually a monofin that was made by a mermaid, by Mermaid Linden, and that's the one that I use because it's actually the most aerodynamic in the water with my tail and also the lightest. So that way, when you put on this big heavy tail, you don't have that extra weight from the monofin as well.
And I love how you
And
can
then,
belly dancing because yeah, that was like my first time trying it. I always wanted to be a mermaid. And when you did a beautiful workshop at our Sacred Sisterhood pool party on the weekend, I was like, this is my chance. And I did
yes.
belly dance movement like when you're doing it. So I can see it being like a really good kind of like core workout.
Oh, yes, definitely. I feel like, you know, when you spend time in the water, it's already so healing for like, for me personally, for my back injury. But doing that core workout when you're mermaid swimming, it's just next level, you know? And you don't even realize that you're working out. You're just like being a mermaid, and you're like, oh, this was actually really good for me. And I prefer that type of workout myself. I did do belly dancing in Detroit for a while. So it's definitely that like that very kind of feminine movement and that energy when you're mermaiding because you know it is an art form and it is a almost a performance like a dance underwater. So yeah, it's definitely like belly dancing for sure.
Yeah. Water with like your mermaid fin. Oh, so that's why, yeah, I noticed you had like a little kind of belly dance scar. So you'd done some belly dancing before. Oh, beautiful. So from find out more about it, you've got like a Sydney Mermaid page and Insta that you'll talk about the courses as well that if they want to discover about being going to get launched.
Yes, definitely. So when we launch the course with the freediving instructor, we'll definitely have that on our website, and we have a newsletter as well as a podcast. So and the Sydney Mermaids Pod Facebook group is a really good one because then for any events that we do, like beach cleanups or mermaid meet and greets, beach pop-ups, any sort of like festivals, we'll definitely have all of that info in there.
Oh, that's exciting. So from there, you you know, which is getting that started, which is really nice. Talk a little bit about what is Sydney Mermaids.
Oh, so Sydney Mermaids, essentially when I started mermaiding, I found that I was kind of, I was with my partner and, I would swim around, but I really wanted to have a pod because, in the States and in Hawaii, they always swim in these gorgeous mermaid pods, always together. And it's just so much more fun that way. So when I started Sydney Mermaids, it was actually just a way for other mermaids to come together and swim together. And now we're doing performances and events and like corporate events. So yeah, there's heaps in the works, but I think the best part of it is just getting together and everyone swimming like a mermaid in the ocean or in ocean pools. It's just so divine. I love it.
I think that's beautiful. So like, yeah, you were looking for a community of mermaids. Fun when you have, people in there doing it with you, and you've got your like. So with Sydney Mermaids, if they're interested as well, you shops.
Yes, if anyone's keen, we'll be doing mermaid workshops. You can always message me and just ask me like for anything, if you want to create some mermaid magic together. I just love bringing the joy of mermaiding to people and just teaching them how they too can be a mermaid because, there's this idea that you even need a mermaid tail to be a mermaid, but actually you don't. You can be a mermaid just, in your heart and, for anyone, any size, any shape, any gender, like anyone can be a mermaid. I truly believe that. And just bringing that joy and magic to the everyday, like you see people light up, when they see a mermaid, especially after the past couple of years, they just, I feel like we're all kind of looking for that sense of magic again and wonder and just really tapping into that inner child and just having some fun and play and a little bit of magic. It's just so nice. So having that, the community and the workshops and oh my goodness, just everything.
And
It's definitely growing.
what you were saying about, bringing, finding that inner child. And I think a lot of us are trying to come back to, what that inner child state and finding that joy, in the pictures. And I used to always dream about a mermaid. I obviously shared about how I'd play under the sea and like pretend. And like you think back that when you were younger, you'd play your little, mermaid games. And I remember when I think I said to you, I was on holiday in Hawaii and I was like, oh, there's a mermaid school, but then it was just for kids. And I was like, so I loved it with one can do it. So I was like, wow, this is my chance. Like any age, any mermaid.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I know what you mean because I feel the same. Like when I got into mermaiding at first, people would be like, oh wow, like I love your tail. Like my kid has that. Or, it was almost like, oh, okay, that's not really for adults. Like what are you doing? And it was like, okay, but I know that in my heart, everyone deep down like wants to be a mermaid. They all want to go swimming like a mermaid in the sea and just not care about any of that. So yeah, I guess that's why I wanted to build Sydney Mermaids was to just create that space so that people, anyone of any age could like come and become a mermaid, instead of having to go to Hawaii, which I mean, that's not too bad either, is it?
Oh, the kids, they didn't have like the proper mermaids. So
Oh yeah, yes.
I didn't find the pod.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, like finding a mermaid pod, I think it's definitely hard when, I think that even though we're surrounded by the ocean here in Sydney, it's definitely been hard to find other mermaids. So, but there are a few. We're just very shy creatures, I think, a lot of us. So it takes a lot of work to build that pod. But that's why I wanted to create Sydney Mermaids so that anyone who's just like keen can just come and they can experience it and like be part of a pod. And, it's just, yeah, I think for anyone just to be in that space and to be in a mermaid tail, like you could talk about it, but actually experiencing it is next level.
And like after actually experiencing it on the weekend, being a mermaid for the first time, I was like, wow, I'm hooked. And yeah, I was like, it's that are probably really interested in trying it, but you have that like fear, like what you said, that fear of judgment of being like, oh, but it was beautiful. And I was like, I definitely want to swim with you soon. And I think you're saying that it's coming up. You were telling me about International Mermaid Day. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we are having a gathering for International Mermaid Day, which is March 29th. So basically, it will probably be here in Manly, getting together for a mermaid swim and to just celebrate being a mermaid. Yeah, so definitely, if anyone is keen, come say hello, and just, you can ask any questions. You can actually come and check out the tails, and I think seeing them in person and actually having them physically there is also really helpful, because sometimes you see them and you're like, oh, like I don't know where to buy one, or like how to get started. So yeah, definitely having like a play for a day is good, because you can just kind of see what it's like and have a feel for it. And International Mermaid Day is just like, I think every year it just becomes more and more special to me, just having everyone together to swim, play in the ocean, chill on the beach. Like, if you don't have a mermaid tail, it's totally fine. Most mermaids that I know, like, they sometimes, don't have a tail, so they're just a mermaid at heart. So they just come and chill with us on the beach, and we all have like little snacks and do a little mermaid magic together. It's just a lovely, lovely day. It's like Christmas for mermaids.
Yeah. What so it's on the 29th of March.
Let me double check that. My papers swam away. Yeah, I'll double check and I'll write in the chat.
Gary is as well, and confirm. But we'd love to have like a full look at your tail, like just have a look and show us.
Oh yeah. So I don't know if you can see. Like and then I have this top as well, which is the scale.
Are you at the beach where you did the mermaid circle? Is that the same?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love that.
This is like my sacred space. This is where I do all of my mermaid magic and all of like my sea witchcraft, everything. I just come here for it, because for me, it's like my space that is just so sacred to me. And I definitely love to swim here as well, because you have like Manly Beach, which is a little bit it's a little bit more crowded. But here it's always kind of much more chill. Like, wait, there's not even anyone here today, so it's just me hanging out.
Wow. Like, we got people walking past and they're like, is that a mermaid? I love that. So
yes.
Mermaid life. So I would love you to just share, what do you think, if you want to be a mermaid or you want to be a mermaid at heart, what values do you think, like you mentioned before, I would love to know a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so I think, most people I've met in Sydney are a little bit of a mermaid at heart already, right? Like, they care about the ocean, they care about going to beach cleanups and like being a part of like, this kind of beach culture. And for me, being a mermaid, a lot of it is, doing beach cleanups, making sure that I am environmentally conscious of like how much plastic I'm using, because all of that just winds up back into the ocean. And, just being a mermaid as well is, just having that love for other people and that empathy and kindness, and yeah, just being really aware of like, how you can be a better person. Like, when I first started mermaiding, I think I was in just like a really, dark space. I had this back injury that made it hard to move. So I think I was just very, I was in a really dark space. But when I found mermaiding, I found that I actually was, kind of tapping into that higher self. And, when I first put on the tail, I was like, oh my God, this is me. I had tried every other water sport. And I was just so keen to be a surfer for so long. I lied to myself that I was a surfer for like 5 years. I did all of the surf camps and, bought all of the surf gear. But really, I just loved being in the water, and needed like that activity. And with mermaiding, as soon as I put on my tail, I was like, at first, for so long, I was like, oh my God, this is who I am. Like, it just kind of clicked. So it was just that beautiful moment of realizing like, oh my goodness, I am a mermaid. And, when I first got started, it was so hard to find really like any information on like how to be a mermaid. Most of the stuff I was finding was in the States or in Hawaii. So just gathering all that info together and like collecting over the past couple of years, really, to create this, magic for other people to kind of explore and have a play with without having to do all of that work. Because, the mermaid community, which it is worldwide, the mermaid community itself, a lot of merfolk are in the States or in Hawaii. So it was, for me, I just really wanted to create like, that sense of community, getting all the mermaids together for like beach cleanups, and doing like little meet and greets, but also wellness visits for people that maybe had been suffering during COVID, during the lockdown. So many people were suffering from social anxiety, especially little children. And with mermaiding, it's like play therapy. So essentially, you're helping these children just have that sense of wonder and magic back in their lives, instead of focusing on like, what's happening in the world and on the news. I feel like, that can be too much for children a lot of the time. So that was, I think, one of my favorite activities that I did as a mermaid, was that wellness checkup and visit.
And like bring a little bit of magic, life and to others, and to, share that joy. And like the ocean is just so magical where we are right now. Here in Sydney, we've got some of the most beautiful beaches, but like still close to the city. So with mermaid life, if there's any kind of could have for any the mermaids out there, what would it be like intention for like mermaids, the whole mermaid community?
Sorry, what was that?
So had a like an intention that you could have for the mermaid community around the world right now.
Oh, I think right now, in the world, I think the intention would be to keep growing our community, and in a way that shows that, in a loving way, with mermaiding. And I think in Sydney, with all these floods and everything, it's just, being very environmentally conscious and helping out with any sorts of beach cleanups, I think would be an everyday mermaid thing you could do. And you don't need a tail to do a beach cleanup. It's probably actually easier to to do a beach cleanup without a tail. But anything that can basically help the environment. There's Mermaid Straw, which she makes these beautifully colored metal straws, so that you can bring them in your purse with you instead of using plastic straws. There's, different, instead of using plastic bags, you can use like the little net tote bags, and that's pretty mermaidy, like a little fishing net. I actually wear one when I perform. But yeah, along with the belly dancing outfit. And I think I found that as well, the energy of like your sister circles as well has just been so mermaidy for me. Like at that workshop, for me, it was essentially exactly how mermaiding should be. Just everyone in the water, playing, having a beautiful time, singing The Little Mermaid together. I mean, it was just so magical. I was like, this is how it should be.
It was like, I want to have a mermaid at every party that I have.
Yes.
that extra fun element. So I was like, I think that's amazing for anyone that's having a pool party. Lauren can be your mermaid.
Oh yes, I'm actually there's so many different corporate events where like mermaids will just play like in the background, and it's so beautiful, you know, it's so beautiful to just watch like someone in a tail in the water. Like I just get mesmerized. You know, I'm always on like Instagram like watching these reels of other mermaids. I'm just like obsessed. So but just seeing it flow through the water is one of the most beautiful things you can witness. And in real life, it's even better.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's so magical. And I think that, when I was writing about it, I really feel like the mermaid is like the divine feminine in the flow, in the water, just embracing, looking for that beauty and that magic, all around you right now. Going on in the world is so important.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Like, especially, you know, with everything that's happening in the world, whenever I get into my tail and just jump into the water, it's like all of that just melts away. It's like none of that even matters anymore. Like I'm just in the moment, present, just floating in the water and just, yeah, just breathing with the tides. I think a lot of mermaiding is holding your breath, and doing any type of breath work will help you with that. So we do what's called tidal breathing. So you're just like matching your breath with the tide. And it's so, for me, it just helps me with like any type of, you know, anxiety that I might be experiencing or anything like that. And just when you finally jump into the water, yeah, you just feel like this mermaid queen, like this mermaid goddess just floating in the water. Like it's so beautiful. I
Oh,
can't I can't really describe it any other way.
you want to take us through a bit of the tidal breathing, the mermaid tidal breathing?
Oh yeah, so I can match our breathing with the tide right now. So essentially you just want to, you can close your eyes if you want, and just slowly breathing in and just hold, and then breathing out. And then breathe in, hold, and breathe out. So usually I do this breath before I even hold, I take a breath to then go underneath the water. It essentially helps you hold your breath for longer because it's that little meditative breathing, you know, that just kind of slows your heart rate, gets you like present in the moment. And yeah, it's definitely helpful for me doing the tidal breathing.
Wow, amazing. Just those breaths and like really kind of got me present because I've had like so much happening this week and it really, wow. So if I was at the beach and I was doing it, I would match my breathing to the tide coming in and out. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And if you don't have a beach near you, you can actually just get like sometimes if I don't have a beach near me, I'll just get like on Spotify, you know, you can search like ocean sounds and then I'll match it to that. That's really helpful too.
Wow. I think that's a really, and I think that's a really good practice with that tidal breathing, how in everyday life you can embody that mermaid energy, that kind of, being in that present and that divine feminine. I'm so grateful for you showing up as you are, as this beautiful, show us as this beautiful mermaid goddess. And
Thank you.
like the course that's coming up, How to Be a Mermaid with Patty. I love bit about the Sydney Mermaid Pods and about International Mermaid Day because I know a few of the women asked about it afterwards, and yeah, just put in the date and how they can get in touch with you on your Instagram. So you've got Mermaid Lauren, but then you've got Sydney Mermaids as well.
Yeah, yeah. So you can follow both, and but yeah, my main website is Sydney Mermaids, just to create that community and that space for people to come and experience being a mermaid, or you can book a mermaid for parties and events. Yeah, just anything mermaid, I got you.
I love it. And I love that, like, I seen your little mugs, the Mer Kitty mugs. I am in love. I need to get a Mer Kitty mug in my life.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. So I'm in the process of creating all these stickers and the City Mermaids sticker book, which is, I love creating like little cutesy cartoons, just being the nerd that I am. So I have all of these stickers that I'll be selling at the markets here in Manly as well. And they have like little mermaids and then, like little squids, little other little sea creatures. But really it's just to, I think when you get kids to care about the ocean and, like seeing like cute little sea creatures, they actually start caring about it more. Yeah, that's my goal.
So I have a story about that. Like, so I grew up on the Sunshine Coast, and we used to have these little rock pools, and I remember like 11 or 12, and we found these starfish that were living, like a pink and orange one, and I was really into corn the bear. So we called it corn.
Oh,
Yeah, the rock band. So I used to visit it. Like, me and my friends would like meet up after school and would be like, "Is Corn Star still there?"
oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. Even though it's really hardcore.
I was Yeah, I was like obsessed with sea otters as a child. Anytime we would go to the beach in Oregon, I would just always be on the lookout for little sea otters, So I feel like I had the same thing. My little sea otter Ollie. It didn't matter which sea otter it was. It was always named Ollie.
Yeah, and
Little
like
Ollie the sea otter.
that was like me with two different starfish, and we're like, "That's definitely Corn Star," and then we're like, and then that's
Yeah.
and then, like, I think that you miss that coming back and, having that inner child of like, I try to do that as well. Like, when I'm like, my total bliss is being at the beach and like going in the rock pools and like discovering creatures. So I think that's so beautiful. Instead of, all the time, we've got so much around us, like on our phones and online, is like, actually, we have all this beauty right here on these beaches.
Yeah, I know, right? And I feel like, when I'm on the beach in my mermaid tail, I'm like, where's all the other mermaids? So that is how I guess I got started. I was like, I feel like there should be, just like a million mermaids in Sydney. Look at this. It's pretty much like we are surrounded by ocean. And, for so many women out there or anyone, I know some mermen as well and some non-binary merfolk. And, it's just such a fun thing to get into. Like, there is that divine feminine energy, which I love, the spiritual side of mermaiding. But I have to say that, as far as tapping into that inner child energy, it is just like one of the funnest things you can do.
As soon as we finished our workshop, I was like online, like, okay, where can I get a mer towel? And then like I seen this like
Yeah.
what color your one is, and I was like, oh, I think I'd be like a more like coral, like orange, like little mer towel. So I'm pretending up my little like mermaid. So I wore my.
Yes, I love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's actually, I am a mer ambassador for a mermaid tail company. They're called Neverland Tales. They're in South Australia. They're one of the only mermaid tail companies in Australia. So if anyone wants to shop local, definitely look them up because, yeah, mermaid tails can be very expensive, especially the ones that you can actually swim in because, if you go on to like Shein or something like that, you can get like these really bad quality ones that are actually really dangerous to swim in. So I do not recommend this at all. It's like, it's just a way to drown really. But if you want one that you can actually swim in and that's safe, there's Neverland Tales and then there's Finfolk. But a lot of them are in the States. So I think supporting a local Australian brand for me is just like number one.
Drop it in the comments because I would love that.
Yeah.
Local and but you've inspired me to get my mermaid because I always go swimming down down in the ocean pools and this. I was like, I'm going to be that person. I'm going to be rocking it with like my mer towel now. So
Yes.
by me to kind of that. And I am so grateful for you, beautiful Mermaid Lauren, and your Sydney Mermaid
Oh, thank you.
that's growing space. And yeah, look forward to more magic, and people can connect with you as well and find that magic within. Oh, I love this, Lauren, what she's doing. Keep creating beautiful magic being a mermaid.
Oh, thank you. Yes, definitely come swimming with me. Let's mermaid together again. That was so much fun. And I think just, getting into it. Yes.
So for some people that going to be watching this or watching the replay and they might not be by the ocean, maybe before we end it, give them a little view of the beautiful water they can see.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. And there's the tail.
Lots of love, mermaid sister.
Thank you so much. Love you, Mer sister. Bye.
Or can you flap the tail? Somebody said that. Can you flap the tail? Bye. Love it. Beautiful.
There you go.